Brandon here from Building Wealth Flow. We're about to do a walkthrough of where we're at in the stage of this build. Sheetrock's been on, some cabinets have been set. We're going to do the walkthrough of both these builds. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you're learning a lot through this build process. I try to share most of my expenses so that you can get a good gauge of what I'm spending per square foot, and you might be able to extrapolate it on any build you're doing, all depending on the size. So I hope you enjoy it. I pray that you have stewardship of the knowledge and money you're entrusted with. Stay with me. All right, I want to film. We're finished with the initial paint, and I want to go through some of the looks. So this is one, this color on the front. This is Tin Lizzie from, we use Sherwin-Williams. The black on the trim there and the black on the door, that's called Iron Ore. The exterior white is Alabaster. Now on this other one that I'm doing over here, let me walk over. That green was actually Sherwin-Williams color of the year a few years ago. It's called Evergreen Fog. And then the colors, same thing, the blacks and the white on there are all the same as this other house. But let's walk through and see some of the finish where we're at today. So you'll see the workbench there. He did it on a 16 inches, so it's not deep enough. I think I'm gonna put something on there to make it 6 more inches to be a 22-inch deep shelf. And of course, we've got all these electrical supplies and finished plumbing. Those are being done. Let's walk through. You can see some of the trim that we didn't use here. That's gonna be taken back, and we'll get a credit on that. But let's go through and see the look here. So you notice the shiplap there, and even I don't know if you can see the little detail work there, the cutout for the, this is an electrical fireplace. It has different colors, but it actually does push heat. But even on this mantle, we did an extra thick. I think this is 6 inches on this mantle. And you can see here on this beam, we stained all of this to match. And let's walk over to the kitchen. I'm gonna probably grab my flashlight because there's areas that are dark. But you can see here the beadboard on our ceiling here that just dresses up this kitchen. And the final thing, we're matching to this. This was the original pieces. These are going to be 2 floating shelves right here. We've got the other ones in the other house, but we're going to be installing those 2 floating shelves. And we noticed they were, thicker, 4-inch thick. We wanted to make sure the mantle matched, but this is the kitchen here. And what you'll notice also, you'll see the things that we do, I call it the little things speak. Putting the crown trim on there, it didn't cost us. It was in our budget. And you'll notice on this, using the same quartz for this windowsill. See the wiring for the undermount lights, the little niche there that we'll do for the backsplash to put their, the different spices. Hopefully you can kind of see this quartz here. And let's walk into the master, and we'll walk through that, and hopefully you can see, got the boxed trade ceiling here, dresses it up. I'm gonna head so you can see this because it gets very dark. One of the things we do on these vanities is not the cabinets, the white cabinets. I'm buying these from Lowe's. These are those furniture style vanities. And then what we're gonna do is, of course, 2 mirrors, but then 2 different sconce lights on this between the 2 mirrors. And then we haven't done the tile yet, but you can look here. Hopefully you can see the boxes that we're doing on each side. And one thing you can notice, we're even staining the clothes hanging rod bar to match all the other stain. These are the little things, instead of leaving them without stain, finishing them out and making this look nice. And here you got this little seat with some storage and a little bit of shiplap, and we will be putting, you know, 2 towel hooks on this. But this is another thing in the master. Of course, my wife hadn't seen this. She'd probably get upset if she saw this because we don't have this in our house, but I've added this little bench area with some storage, and it just dresses up this master bath. Let's go into the other room, back into the living room. And this living room ceiling, I think the overall with the vault on this is around between 13 and 14 feet. It's a good vault, and you can kind of see the substantial of the beam that goes across. And let's walk in here. Same vanity, because we're using brushed gold. I don't know if you can see that here, but even these pulls, and we will add pulls in the kitchen too. But another thing that we add is cabinets above the toilet. Same thing, we've got the niche that's coming once we get this all finished out. I'll even show you here the box for storage. And these are double hanging rack, as I'm sure you're noticing, with all these boxes in here for plenty of storage. We'll walk into the other things here, this hallway. You can see we do some of the same stuff in the washer dryer area. And here I guess they must have had some extra crown. They put crown on this one and a hanging rod. Heading out, and then final one here, you're looking at this closet. These are large closets. We'll try to make them very convenient. Where, you know, these are single family homes. So ideally, I'm looking at what my customer wants, my tenant, and making this to where this is like all the little custom features. And we've picked up quite a few tenants. When I'm competing with other build to rent people, what I've noticed, they do it as cheap as possible to extract as much. But when I'm competing against them, because I've done some of these little features, I build them at a very economical price, but I've added a few features to it of some custom features. I pick up those tenants when they're looking at all the others, and then they look at mine. I've had multiple tenants say they could see the touch and the love that has been put into this and the custom features. So that's this initial walkthrough, and I will go back to the office, go through the numbers, and give you some of the detail on the numbers of the finish as of today. So I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough and what you see here and what the little touches I've done to make this a first-class rental. Okay, I'm back at the office. So I'm going to go over the numbers, and the reason I do it as cost per square foot, it gives you a metric depending on whatever size you're building. You'll be able to put the math to it. So when I give the numbers, I'm putting cost per square foot. If you want to get the actual dollar amount, you can multiply that 1,730 square feet times what I'm going to quote here. And I'm given the savings from my previous build last year. Now, what are we, 9 months ago or so. So what we've got is the sheetrock first. So I showed you the video. The drywall here, what it ended up costing me was $4.01 per square foot. And from the previous build, same house, saved $324. Paint was the exact same, $2.66 a square foot. Now that is paint both inside and out, painting all the trim around the doors. That's going to be done here very soon, but this is the final number, what the paint's going to be. The cabinets. So this is cabinets in the kitchen. These are also including the cabinets, those furniture style cabinets in both the bathrooms. Now on those, though of course they're a little bit different, it gives it a little more custom look, but it already comes with countertops. I've been buying these countertops from Lowe's now for multiple builds and trying to help control the cost, but it also controls my countertop cost because both the double sink one and the single sink one already come with it, with the countertop there. And those also already have the hardware, which matches all my other hardware that's going to be coming, that brushed gold. So this is the cabinet cost, including all of them, both the 2 furniture style in the bathroom and the kitchen, is $3.88 a square foot, saved about $578 from the previous build. Trim cost a little more, and the reason being we lost our trim guy. So we had to find a new trim guy, and we're dialing it in, but it cost us a little more. But he did a few other things by putting on, what he's going to be doing is putting on the door hardware, which I had to pay extra for before. So he's not only doing all the trim work for the different closets, the shiplap around the island, the shiplap on the fireplace in the master bathroom, building that box bench seat, the trim that goes around all the doors. He'll be setting the doors. He'll be doing the trim around the doors. He'll also be putting on my door hardware for me. But that trim cost, both for the material and the labor combined, $4.24 a square foot. It did cost a little more, the $12.82, but I'm getting some savings from that of having to pay somebody else to put the door hardware on. Countertops, I'm using a quartz countertop, and you can see, and I'm going to show it at the end too when it's all cleaned up and nice and shiny. It's got little flecks in there, and actually has some shiny flecks in that white quartz. It was $1.91, so I'm only having to pay for countertops in the kitchen area. Saved me $415. They also set the sink in the kitchen area. That's the cost included with that. And then appliances. I know not all the appliances are there from this filming, but I thought I'd put it in with this group. My appliance cost, because these are about to all be delivered, was $1.45 per build. I put them both the same here, the 5718 and 5720 for these properties, the side-by-sides. It's the same dollar amount. It saved about $185. What I've noticed is some of my appliances have gotten a little cheaper. And just a tidbit, I use Lowe's. I have a Lowe's credit card. Anything over, I think it's $2,000 in purchases, it goes to the Pro Desk, and typically I've been able to save around 15% on all my purchases there at Lowe's for lighting, for plumbing fixtures, for some of the stuff that I'm buying, my appliances. I try to save up to purchase. Now I'm building 2 at a time, so it's easy to hit that 2,000. I think it's 2,000 or 2,500. I can't remember exact because Lowe's just recently changed it. But once I've hit that minimum dollar amount, it goes to the Pro Desk, and I'm able to save a total of 15% as an average on all my purchases. If I don't hit that minimum dollar amount with the Lowe's Amex card, I get an automatic 5% savings on any purchase I do. And there's times at the end I'm just doing lots of little things. I'm not hitting that minimum, but I'm at least still saving 5% on their prices. But these are the prices so far. I hope you're enjoying this series. The next one will be the final one. Everything's done. It's all cleaned up. That'll be the final one for the build. Then I'm going to do another part with an interview with the builder. Like I said, we've got one special thing we did in the early stages that's going to save us some money over the coming years that I can't wait to share. And then the very final one will be the one when we have it rented out, and I'll go through all the financials of where this is, and it looks like it's going to be great. So I hope you're enjoying this series. Please comment if you've got any questions. I'll be happy to answer them there on this video. Please subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. I do lots of videos on builds, but I also do lots of videos from my 30 years in finance and real estate teaching financial literacy. Till next time.